I'm Brian Dunsmoor. I'm the chef owner of Dunsmoor Restaurant in Glassell Park. And this is Manuel Mendoza,
Yes.
the chef of Dunsmoor Restaurant. At Dunsmoor, we specialize in American heritage food, utilizing American ingredients with no technology cooking. So at the restaurant, we cook everything without the assistance of any modern technology. No blenders, no food processors, no robocoups, nothing like that. This is our robocoup right here. So we think that making everything by hand gives you more opportunity to connect with the food, and it gives you more time, since it's a slower process, to make more decisions along the way, which in the end definitely makes the food better. Today we're going to be making a Carolina Gold Rice risotto with Lowcountry shrimp butter. Carolina Gold Rice is really important in American cooking because this is what basically shaped the entire cuisine of the South. So pre-Civil War, this rice made Charleston the richest city in America. It was exported to Asia, to emperors. It was the most sought after rice anywhere. And then post-Civil War, for obvious reasons, there was nobody to harvest the rice anymore, and it went extinct pretty much. And this guy, he's a legend. His name's Glenn Roberts. He's the owner and proprietor of Anson Mills. He found a few grains of this and he completely revived it. We're gonna be making the Carolina Gold Rice risotto with Lowcountry shrimp paste, but what we're gonna have to do, there's gonna be 3 different components to this dish. So first, we're gonna have to make a reinforced shrimp stock. We're gonna have to make the Lowcountry shrimp paste, and then the finished product after those 2 are done is gonna be the Carolina Gold risotto. So what we're gonna start doing now is Manuel's gonna start cleaning the shrimp for the shrimp paste and the stock, and I'm gonna start cutting some vegetables for the stock. We're gonna do a nice fat sprig of thyme. We're gonna do 2 fresh bay leaves. Bay leaves are really important in Lowcountry cooking because it grows wild everywhere. They just call it wild laurel in the Lowcountry. We'll do 2 tomatoes here for the stock. And the tomatoes really for the stock are more for color. Growing up in the South, like when I was in high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was considering college, but then I realized I didn't really want to go to regular college. It just wasn't for me. So I ended up going to culinary school in Charleston. And while I was living there, I really became fascinated with the cuisine, and even more so like after I left and like started researching more and more, just because of the deep history behind the cuisine. The cool thing about Lowcountry food is, like, in America, I feel like not everybody really understands what our foodways are. In Charleston, you could wake up in Charleston after being asleep for years with a plate of food in front of you and know exactly where you were in the country. I used to talk a lot of trash about like fusion food, and then after I was a little older and less arrogant, I realized that American food is a perfect definition of fusion. We've taken all the best things from all these cuisines from around the world and kind of hodgepodge them together to make our own cuisine. So we're just going to deglaze the bottom of the pan with just a touch of dry sherry. We're going to save a little bit of that for the risotto and just a little bit of white wine. And we're going to cook that down until it's almost gone. This is cold water to cover, and we're going to bring that up to a boil, and then we're going to cut that down to a simmer.
So now that the water is boiling, we're just gonna blanch the shrimp. The water is being seasoned with salt. Just gonna drop it in real quick.
And shrimp cook really quickly. I think most people cook shrimp way too long. It's like, I'll drop a shrimp, let it like come back up to a simmer and just cut it off. And it probably takes, what do you think? Like a minute and a half for like a decent sized shrimp to cook. Because like when you pull them out, you want them to be a little bit translucent in the middle because they're gonna continue carrying over cooking. And there's nothing worse than like a mealy, overcooked shrimp. So once they start to curl a little bit, like where you devein them, which they're starting to get close, we'll just pull it out. And then we like to shock it really quickly in an ice bath just to stop the cooking process. Stock came to a boil. I just cut it down to a low simmer and we're just gonna kind of let that go. We're looking for like a dark, rich, red, almost brownish color to really like pull the full flavor out of the shrimp. And once again, it's really important, like a rule of the stock, like even though we sauteed everything and sweated it and deglazed, you really need to start with cold water. Because when the cold water is coming from cold up to a boil, that's when it's pulling all the flavor out. If you just throw the stuff, dump in hot water, you're basically just cooking it, if that makes any sense. You're not pulling out those flavors and colors and all the good stuff that you're looking at from a stock.
So basically we're gonna do the shrimp paste right now. I blanched the shrimps already. So I'm just gonna go ahead and chop the shrimp so it's a little bit easier to do on the morning pesto.
Ooh, cheap grill. Ooh, we love it. Cooks love it when this happens. I don't know what it is about this. Ooh, that's pretty close. So risotto is a technique more than anything. It's basically cooking rice, but you're feeding it the stock little by little while stirring to develop the starch. So I've seen different recipes. Some people rinse the rice. We like to not rinse the rice because it makes like a really nice creaminess without adding any kind of dairy to it in the beginning. And what you're looking for is a creamy texture with this like a little bit of bite on the rice. So I like to take it just slightly past al dente. It's about 2 cups of rice. We're gonna do 2 shallots. We just do like a nice fine dice on it. But honestly, I don't think like perfect knife work is terribly important to this. I think when it comes to knife work, I think some things require a lot of attention to detail, and then other things, especially in like a restaurant setting, it's like speed is important too, because like we got to get it done. That's about 2 cups, and we're gonna like toast the rice in the olive oil for maybe just a couple minutes. It just adds a little bit more roundness to the dish. The sherry. And we're gonna take all the booze and we're gonna cook that down until it's completely gone. Seasoning, as in salt, is really important. And the earlier on you can get it in, the better. Like you don't want to like make this and then not put any salt in it and then at the end throw in a bunch of salt, because then it's just going to taste salty, if that makes sense. You want to like incorporate it throughout the dish. Ladle by ladle, we're going to slowly add in the stock while stirring. So stirring this naturally thickens the starch. Like, have you ever had like gummy mashed potatoes like that aren't like that weird? That means they were overworked and the starch was overdeveloped. That's why like you want to like rice potatoes and then fold in stuff, not like beat them to death with a whisk. This is the opposite. Like that is what we're looking for. For a batch of rice this size, might take, what do you think, 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes? But it's inconsistent. You just have to taste as you go. And what you're really looking for is that consistency, like the creaminess, and then just a little bit of tooth on the rice. You really got to keep it moving aside from developing the starch, is that you really don't want it to stick on the bottom. Because once in like one pot cooking like this, like when you're making like beans or rice or anything, like once if it burns a little bit, it's burnt. You know, it makes the whole batch taste burnt. Yeah, just a little bit longer. We have a hard no tweezers policy, and everybody's like, well, those are tweezers. I'm like, these are like little tongs. Wait for it to come to the surface.
It's gone.
It disappeared.
It disappeared. That's right there.
Shrimp paste right here. That smells good. All right, so shrimp paste is in. We might add a little bit more, but who knows? We're gonna hit it with a little bit of lemon zest just to freshen it up. Then we're gonna hit it with a good amount of Parmesan cheese. I am not a believer in the no seafood and cheese rule. That's absolutely crazy. So you see how it's loose, but it's still holding its shape? Like, I think this is a nice consistency. Carolina gold rice porridge, call it.